If you feel overwhelmed with kids' clothes, you are not alone. I have absolutely been there, and this is also something we help in-home clients with on a weekly basis. In today's video, I am sharing my top 3 tips for decluttering kids' clothes easily and quickly so you can get in and out in under 20 minutes. So I am here in my 7-year-old daughter's bedroom, and I just did a quick review of her clothes just before I started the video, and I was able to find a few things to declutter. So after I share my 3 tips, I'm gonna show you all of the items that I chose out of her dresser to declutter and why. So tip number 1 is to do this consistently. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I probably at least once a week, I am removing something from someone's drawers that they no longer use. So it could be underwear that they've outgrown, socks that now have holes, a bathing suit that no longer fits, a sweatshirt that nobody wears, a pair of shorts that are too itchy, or a sweater that is too tight, or whatever the case is. Every single week I am getting rid of something. In addition to me just randomly doing it like throughout the week, I also sit down and like kind of consciously do a quick review. I would say probably several times per year. Sometimes it's the beginning of a new season, sometimes the end, and sometimes it's halfway between. One big way to make this easier on me is having a too small basket upstairs. So I've talked a lot about donation stations and how important those are to keep decluttering consistently in your home. However, our donation station is all the way in our basement and our bedrooms are on our top floor. Therefore, having a too small basket, so basically a donation station just for kids' clothes. I have that in our son's closet. It is literally just a reusable bag that we have on one of the shelves, and that is where I put anything that is too small. Having this permanent spot makes it so much easier to keep up doing this consistently. Tip number 2 is having limits, like super easy limits that you do not have to really think about. For us, we base it on number of items for our laundry cycle. So we do laundry only on weekends, so once a week. So we have to have enough clothes for the kids to last 1 week. Therefore, with changes and getting things dirty or messes, we typically have about 9 to 10 items per category. So 9 pairs of pants, 10 t-shirts, 10 pairs of shorts. We also have some spatial limits. Like I said, I'm in Annie Rose's room and this is her dresser. It's one of those classic white Ikeas, and we have hers is a 3 drawer. In Leo's room, he has a 6 drawer. However, 3 of them are used for clothes and 3 of them are used like for his just treasures or stuffed animals or whatever. By having those limits, that also makes it easy where, you know what, if I just can't fit stuff in the drawer, if I can't close the drawer anymore, that's a sign that we need to get rid of a few items. Whatever your limit is, it just makes it so much easier when you're going to declutter, have this sort of base that you know you can sort of work from. Anything we can do to make this process like mindless and just automatic is going to make it easier and more likely that you're going to do it consistently. Tip number 3 is that I ask myself the following questions. Question number 1 that I'm going to ask myself is, does it fit? Plain and simple. And this sounds so basic and sounds like, of course, if it doesn't fit me, and I wouldn't have it in the drawer or I wouldn't have it in the closet. But that's not always the case in my experience. And honestly, even with myself, I'm going to show you an example of this today, is that sometimes things just get forgotten about or put in a weird drawer or kind of fallen in the back of the closet. Question number 2 is, do they reach for it? So if your kids are really itty bitty and it's really you that's grabbing the clothes and you're kind of creating the outfits every morning, then this question, I guess, could be, do you reach for it? But in my case, our kids are a bit older now and they're dressing themselves completely in the morning. Sometimes I have to veto outfits like the odd time, but typically I just kind of give them free reign. So anyway, question number 2 is, do you reach for it, or do they reach for it? This is also a question and a kind of a rule of thumb that I use in my own closet. If there's something in there that like I'm not reaching for or they're not reaching for, even if technically it fits and technically like it's a cute color, I like the idea of it, there's nothing really wrong with it, but just nobody is reaching for it. Usually if we're not reaching for it, that means that we just have other items that we love more. Question number 3, is it practical? I find this especially important for kids. Let me give you a couple of examples. We live in Ontario and our winters are pretty like long and harsh and crazy and cold and full of snow. And so therefore they are wearing snow pants every single day, multiple times per day for months and months on end. Therefore, items, for example, like winter dresses for our daughter who's 7, as much as I love them and they're cute and she loves them, they are just absolutely and frustratingly impractical to wear with snow pants. It is completely impractical for her to have, 5 winter dresses when realistically she can rarely ever wear them because she's constantly putting snow pants on and they just don't work with snow pants. Another example could be, let's say you live on a horse farm or you live on a farm and all summer your kids are outside with you and you guys spend the whole summer together on the farm doing farm things, and maybe it's an area where there's a lot of ticks. So maybe instead of having 10 pairs of shorts for your kids, you're having 5 pairs of shorts and 5 pairs of like light summery pants. Another easy example for us of something practical is when our kids were itty bitty when they first start school, and like getting hoodies on and off, sweatshirts and sweaters on and off if they get hot is really tricky. So getting them having a few little zipper ones I felt like was always very practical and helpful for them when they first start school and they're sort of still trying to figure out how to like dress themselves and get through the day. So tip number 3 are to ask very simple questions such as, does it fit them? Do they reach for it? And is it practical? As I mentioned before I started this video, I went and reviewed Annie Rose's drawers. Literally, I recorded it on my camera and it was 2 minutes and 3 seconds. That is all it took for me to quickly go through. I was able to, without really any effort, find 5 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items that I can instantly let go of today. The first item pertains to my first tip, which does it fit them? I'm pretty minimalist when it comes to what we have in our house and I'm pretty picky about what we keep. So you would think that I only had items that perfectly fit the kids. However, they are children and they do grow and they do need new sizes all the time. So in her one area, her one little basket she has here is sort of what we call sports in the bottom, and it holds sort of like her little gymnastics outfits if she ever did soccer, dance, that kind of stuff that all goes in here. And there were 2 little pairs of shorts in there that are size 5, 6. And I know for a fact that they will just be too small for her this year. I'd had them from probably last season of gymnastics, but I know that she's not wearing them this year and they will be too small to wear like for actual shorts in the summer. So I know I can pass those on to somebody else who can use them. So question number 2, I said, do they reach for them? And these are 2 examples of items that just never get reached for. So if you've ever had a daughter who's like 2, 3, 4 years old, you know that they love tutus, obsessed with tutus. However, she sort of got to the point where she's out of tutus. She never actually says she's out of tutus, but I know for a fact this is one that I've kept for her and that she has not reached for this in months, like months and months and months and months, not even to like play dress up or anything. She's just not into this anymore. She's sort of beyond it, and so I know that I'm safe to let go of that tutu. The other thing that she doesn't reach for whatever reason, is this purple sweatshirt. And like just even this morning I said, hey, maybe you should wear this one today. This would go perfect with those pants or whatever she's wearing. She's like, no. She just says no. She just doesn't like it for whatever reason. It's perfectly plain. I love it. It's just a great little sweatshirt. It would work great on her and technically it fits her. It's her size. But for whatever reason, she just doesn't reach for it, doesn't like it. And we have other sweatshirts, so I know I can let it go. Okay, and my last example falls under the is it practical category or question. Like I mentioned, winter dresses for kids in Ontario are kind of tricky. And this is such a cute little dress. I love the collar. I love the color. I love the fabric. It is kind of almost like a linen, like a cotton linen thing happening with this little cute collar. I love it. And she actually did wear it this year. She wore it for picture day this year, which I think was way back in October, but she has not grabbed for this out of her drawer since October, which it is now March. So that is many months ago, and she's never worn it. So really at this point, it's just wasting space in our drawer, and I know I can let it go. So to recap my 3 tips, do it consistently, create simple boundaries, simple limits. And number 3 are to ask yourself super simple questions like, does it fit? Do they grab for it? And is it practical? Remember to not be striving for perfection, but just striving for progress. I hope you guys like this video. I hope it helps. Any feedback, please leave it below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys, thank you so much.